Hello everyone, welcome back to the Shadow Clan Den. ShadowFeng here. Sorry I wasn't able to do anything on Wednesday. I wasn't feeling well. I had like a 2-day cold, but I'm much better now. I was going to do another challenge today, and I might do a challenge later on. See if I can come up with something. But right now I'm going to do my top 10 Kanto region Pokemon. Basically my top favorite Pokemon from the first generation. A lot of this is based on the Pokemon from that region that I like to use the most in gameplay and things like that. I've been playing Pokemon since, I think I have to start playing it when I was I think I was 12. I think my dad was still alive when I started playing. But anyway, I've been playing it for a while, and a lot of this Pokemon I have used several times. That's why they're going to be on this list. So let's get started. My number 10 Pokemon from Kanto is Arbok. I love Arbok. I think one of the things I like best about Arbok is his moveset. I think and this is a poison type Pokemon that you don't really have to teach moves to it if you raise it from an Ekans all the way up until its final form. Arbok's got a pretty good moves, pretty good moveset. His stats are pretty well versed. And like I said, I like poison Pokemon in general. The first time I raised an Arbok, it actually took me a while to raise one, because based on what I saw from the anime, Arbok was kind of pathetic. It wasn't worth raising. But finally, I broke down and raised one. I think I put it on one of my Blastoise teams one time, and actually, I loved it. It was pretty easy to raise. It evolved level 28, which isn't bad. And like I said, with Glare, Bite, and excuse me, Glare, Bite, and other poison moves to go with them, I think Arbok's a very good Pokemon to try and raise. So if you like poison Pokemon and you haven't raised an Arbok yet, I would do so. Arbok is very fun to raise. Number 9, I'm going with the original dragon here. I'm going to go with Dragonite. Once again, this Pokemon took me a long time before I actually raised one, just because, part of it is because when I was growing up, my friend Jared and I were playing Pokemon, and we were always rivals. He was always into one type, I was into another, and we always tried to beat each other with different types of Pokemon. Since his favorite type back then were dragons, he loved Dragonite for the longest time, and I was always trying to beat his Dragonite with other types, so for a long time, I didn't even raise a Dragonite just because I wanted to always beat Jared's Dragonite with something different. But I finally did get around to raising Dragonite on my own. And once you get him to Dragonite, he's freaking awesome. I think Dratini to Dragonite, though, is probably the hardest dragon evolution. If you're into Pokemon, and you would comment below, let me know what you think is the hardest dragon evolution. But I think getting Dratini to evolve into Dragonite is definitely the hardest dragon type Pokemon to fully raise. But I like Dragonite. I like the movesets it can learn. But it's a very deep moveset. You can learn ice moves, electric moves, fire moves, fighting moves, flying moves, dragon moves, ice moves, water moves. Dragonite is very, very versatile. And I think that's why he's a very good Pokemon to use and raise up. Number 8 is one of my favorite bug-type Pokemon. Not so much anymore. There have been some other bugs that have come along in these other generations that have kind of pushed this Pokemon down a little bit, but I still enjoy raising him. My number 8 Pokemon is Scyther. I love bug Pokemon. It's probably one of my favorite elements. Actually, probably my 3rd favorite element overall. A lot of the reason I like my bugs is because most of them evolve early on, and that I think that can actually help you in raising a team. I know the stat-wise and stuff, bugs aren't the best, you know, but now there are some other ones that are really coming on. But back in the day, if you wanted a good bug, it was Scyther or Pinsir, and I never really got into Pinsir. I mean, even now with the Mega form, I just don't really like it. Scyther was always one of my go-tos if I wanted a badass team back in the day. So that would be the Pokemon that I would go to if I wanted a good bug. It was either Scyther or Butterfree for me, because I'm kind of coming on to Beedrill a little bit more now, but when I was growing up, I never liked Beedrill whatsoever. But Scyther is definitely a very good Pokemon to raise. And speed alone, I think, makes it worth it. So if you're into Pokemon and you haven't raised a Scyther, I would recommend it. I would recommend just raising a Scyther first before you decide to evolve it into Scizor. I love Mega Scizor, but between Scizor and Scyther, I like Scyther better. Because when Scyther evolves into Scizor, you lose that speed stat, and to me, that's one of the greatest things about Scyther. So. Now, number 7. Now, I don't want any laughs at this, because number 7 is Electabuzz, which is kind of funny, because the very first Pokemon episode I ever watched was the one where Ash and their friends go to that small town where there's 2 Johtos in the town, and they're fighting each other, and yada yada. And the lead Pokemon of those 2 gyms are Electabuzz and the Scyther. That's not why I put them on this list in this order, it's just how it happened to fall. I do love Electabuzz. Once again, I think for being Gen 1, Electabuzz is probably the best electric type you could raise, besides Zapdos. But the thing I like about Electabuzz is you can learn moves that you wouldn't really expect an electric Pokemon to learn. Like, you can learn Light Screen, or Flat, Rolling Kick, Low Kick. I think you can learn Karate Chop. You can put some grass moves in there, I think. Electabuzz has a pretty good move pool for an electric type Pokemon, and I think that makes him a very good, a surprising team member when you're going up against someone. You know, this is not an electric type, and you hit them with a move that they don't expect. I think that's a very good quality to have. And Electabuzz is just a boss. I mean, it's a heavy hitter, a very good special attacker. Once again, a lot of fun to raise. Alright, number 6, I'm going with the original bird here. I never got into Fearow. I have raised one, and I did put one on a Blastoise team for a while. And Fearow is good, but I'm going with the other original. I'm going to go with Pidgeot here. I love Pidgeot. He is still my favorite bird. Out of all the birds you can use, he is still my number 1. I love Pidgeot. I love that they gave him a Mega form. I think that makes him even better. A lot of people have been dissing Pidgeot over this past several generations. Pidgeot's been getting a bad rap. I don't really see why. I've never had any problems with Pidgeot. If I ever really want a bird, there's only like a couple that I choose from, and I usually always put Pidgeot on my team because I love it. I think he's better than Bravery. Yes, I've raised a Bravery, and I was not really impressed. I still prefer Pidgeot. Like I said, why people are dissing on Pidgeot so bad, I don't really know. Even before the Mega form came out, I love this Pokemon. Just the overall look of the majestic eagle that it turns into, and I just love Pidgeot. Very, very, very good Pokemon. Plus, I always loved how Ash's Pidgeotto in the game always seemed to be like that one outside Pikachu. I think Pidgeotto was probably Ash's most loyal Pokemon, even though it didn't get a lot of screen time. And once it did finally evolve, Ash was a dumbass and ditched it in the forest. But I still think that Pidgeotto was one of Ash's most loyal Pokemon. I always liked that. So when I raise a Pidgeot or something, I always think of it as being one of my most loyal Pokemon. So that's where I love my Pidgeot. Now, these next 5, if you know me by now, these next 5 should not be any surprise. The order shouldn't be any surprise. You should probably be able to guess at least a couple of these top 5s. So here we go. My number 5, the original Ghost. Gotta go with Dendar. I absolutely love Dendar. He's even better now that he has a Mega form. But Dendar, there's just something about that Pokemon, that whole line. The way they smile, and the way they kind of interact with people. They're more of mischievous group of Pokemon. Not really evil or scary. But yeah, you gotta go with Dendar here with its moveset that it can learn. Like I said, especially now with the Mega Form, Dendar is a beast. Oh my god. Absolutely love Dendar. Once again, if you're into Pokemon and you haven't raised a Dendar, which I don't know why you wouldn't have by now, go catch one, raise it up, trade it over, get yourself a Dendar. You'll have a lot of fun using Dendar. My number 4 Pokemon from the Kanto region. Now this spot, I did kind of juggle this spot a little bit. Because there are 2 water types in this generation that I really enjoy using a lot. And it took me forever to figure out which one I wanted to put here. But finally I had to go with my favorite EV evolution just because it's from the first gen. Vaporeon. Like I said, once again, if you watch this show, you know that I really love Vaporeon. My favorite EV evolution. I just think the whole design of Vaporeon is supposed to somewhat resemble a water dragon. It's fantastic. I'm actually kind of raising one for competitive battling. I actually got my butt whooped by someone using a Vaporeon the other day. You had a very interesting moveset on that Pokemon. So, if you raise a Vaporeon right and give it the right moveset, I mean, the Pokemon can decimate almost anything. I love Vaporeon so much. Just the design. Its stats are pretty well versed for a water type Pokemon. I really enjoy Vaporeon a lot. I use one many times over. I try to use one as many times as I can. Talking about EV evolutions, for me, Vaporeon is my go-to. I like pretty much all the EV evolutions. I would probably say my least favorite. My least favorite is probably Leafeon, just because the moveset I think for Leafeon is kind of lame. It is a decent physical defensive Pokemon, so that's kind of good. But other than that, I think Leafeon's moveset's kind of set him down. But once again, Vaporeon is my number 4 Kanto Pokemon. Absolutely love Vaporeon so much. Number 3 is Arcanine. This Pokemon is so fun. To me, it's probably still one of the best fire Pokemon that isn't a starter that you can get, even though it's from. And don't get me wrong, I'm not first gen biased, but I do think that first gen had the best Pokemon. It's got the most, I think, if I remember correctly, it's got the biggest Pokedex. I think it's got some of the best Pokemon as far as overall stats and power and usefulness. I just think Gen 1 has the best. Arcanine is definitely up there. We did some research on Arcanine, and I guess originally he was supposed to be a legendary. But for some reason I guess they were planning on having the dogs in the first gen, but I guess they changed it. But they decided to leave Arcanine in the Pokedex anyway. Arcanine's this huge 9-foot dog. How cool is that? How would you like to have a dog that's big enough that you can ride? Arcanine is so cool. He's powerful, he's fast, and he's just awesome. The way he looks like he should be a legendary. I mean, he looks like some kind of a fighter dog or something. He's just freaking awesome. Arcanine is the shit. And of course, number 2, once again, should not be a surprise. Number 2, my favorite Pokemon from Kanto is my favorite starter, Venusaur. Big part of this, once again, nostalgia. If you got to watch my grass Pokemon video, you'll understand why Venusaur is my number 2 Kanto Pokemon. Once again, Bulbasaur is the first star I ever raised. Fell in love with it. Love my grass type Pokemon. That's all I have to say for that. So sorry, number 2 wasn't very long, but hey, short and sweet. Now, my favorite Pokemon in this generation is a Pokemon that I think was on my very first complete team in blue. Granted, I don't think Venusaur was my starter. I'm pretty sure the first starter I used was Squirtle. But this Pokemon was on there, and I fell in love with it ever since. I think it's one of the best Pokemon you can raise. And if you make one that's a physical attacker, buddy, you will decimate anything. My number 1 Pokemon from the Kanto region is Nidoking. This poison ground Pokemon is a 4'11" monster. This thing will destroy everything that's packed. And I think actually in the Pokédex entry, I think it says something like, once this Pokemon gets enraged, it won't stop. It just goes and goes and goes. Freaking awesome. Nidoking is so fun. It's a ground poison type Pokemon, which gives it a very diverse moveset. I mean, this thing can learn normal moves, poison moves, ground moves, rock moves, bug moves, lightning moves, fire moves. I think now it can learn some dark moves. I think it can learn Shadow Ball. That's at least 9 movesets of different Pokemon this thing can learn. It can't learn ice moves. I don't think it can learn Mar moves either, but that's okay because its female counterpart, Nidoqueen, can, which is awesome. But Nidoking is so fun. Like I said, if you raise it properly, if you give the right moveset and all that stuff, it's just a very fun Pokemon to raise. Plus, like I said, I like my poison types, so the poison ground typing is a part of it. But I've been raising this Pokemon a long time. I really enjoy putting it on a team. So if you're looking for a good ground type Pokemon, I would recommend going Nidoking for sure. It can learn Toxic Spikes, which is very useful in competitive battling. So I would recommend trying to get a Nidoking on your team. Just have fun with it. Enjoy it. Well, that's it for right now. I might do a challenge later on today. We'll see how the day goes. But that's it for me. Those are my top 10 Kanto Pokemon. Like I said, leave a like, dislike, comment, whatever. And like I said, I might see you later. Have a good day.